Everybody needs to have something going on for
Right.
themselves, because that can be something that can create the next Amazon, next Apple. So all of us have potential. And two, it's like, if you can get a job at a 9 to 5, you can create your own, because apparently they saw something in you.
Right.
So all of us have that potential. It's just we have to, especially in our communities, we have to think about ownership. Powernomics is
What's going on?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good.
Good, man. Thank you so much, man, for your time coming onto the platform. I know you're extremely busy, so I appreciate it, man.
I try as much as I can. It's a Friday, but we gotta feed the people with information and the knowledge. We're in unprecedented times, and the work that we do is extremely important.
That's facts, bro. That's facts.
Yeah.
And Brandon, speaking on that point, man, seeing your story on Earn Your Leisure, following you, I'll probably say for like the past 10 months, seeing somebody my age, 23, killing the game is so impressive, man. So first off, man, I just want to say that we appreciate you, people who follow you, the movement, everything that you're doing, man. So keep that up for real, bro.
I appreciate that. 24 now.
24.
Now.
24.
24. Yeah.
That's
But
what's up.
when I came on and EYL was crazy for me. That actually happened early this year, right before my birthday. That was in January 26th. I'll never forget the date.
Hey,
59.
January. Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up, man.
Sure.
And Brandon, man, starting off, seeing you, man, featured in Yahoo, featured in so many different things, and to know of your story from you starting up a triple major in college, which is crazy, man. So how did you start off with the business that you have right now, and how you said feeding the people? What inspired you to actually change people's lives?
No, of course. And I always say that one of the biggest things for me is that resume writing changed my personal life, right? And so when I got to college, I was not who I am today. I was honestly a class clown, like many folks coming right out of high school.
Yeah.
I just knew I needed to go to college because it was something that my parents always told me that, look, we're in a place where, the world is going where education is important. Even if you got an associate's degree, bachelor's doesn't matter. You have to go and pursue education, right? And so when I say it changed my life, I came into college not like most people, not understanding what was going on about the world, just kind of, very ignorant, whatever. But what happened for me is that I realized very early on that I had to graduate with a job. So that was my main prerogative, is that it didn't matter for me if I graduated making 30,000 or 100,000. I just needed to be self-sufficient and be able to stand on my own 2 feet when I graduated from college. That was super important for me. And so when I was in college, I actually started Resumes.co, which was the first iteration of Brand Resumes. And honestly, it was a whole experience, because I was on campus, I was moving and doing different things, and I felt the need. I was the guy that, the freshman, that I had seniors coming to me, juniors coming to me, asking me for advice, for tips, for guidance. And I was like, wow, so this is supposed to be a thing. You would think that people in college know how to do their stuff, but I was just that beacon. And so when I started Resumes.co, it just opened my eyes. I was like, man, I was 19 at the time, people could really use this information, because I was getting internship interviews, Facebook, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. And I'm like, if I'm coming from a non-target school doing this that no one knows about, best believe everybody on this campus needs to go in the same type of time. And so a lot of it was me trying to hustle back then and sell the same services and just provide the same value. But it's something that's been stuck with me, because I got lucky, right? I was able to leverage the resume writing back then and actually land an internship, a big one, PwC. And then that led to my full-time job, and that which started my career. So for me, it's like, it was all life-changing. It changed my whole dynamic, just coming from, 1 out of 6, coming from, just regular household and didn't have much. It really shaped my whole mind of thinking. When you get an internship paying $27 an hour when you're 19 years old, it's a whole different situation.
Hey, you balling at that age, bro. Yeah.
Absolutely. It was
man.
insane.
I love that. And Brandon too, man, seeing how you were active in college, but also knowing I got to get this bag. How important is it for people who are tuning in, that's in our age group, who may be in college right now, of knowing the importance of, have fun, but also have a purpose in school as well?
Man, you got to say that again for the people who not hearing you, because the thing about being in college is that it's not a game, number one, and number two. being in school in general is an investment in your future, right?
That's
and you
real.
got to take that with the utmost seriousness and move accordingly. You cannot be playing yourself, because what's going to happen is you're going to have debt, and then you're going to be in a position where you don't know where you're going with your career. And if you don't have a direction, then you're going nowhere fast, right? And a lot of times you can invest in your education, but if without the actual execution on it, doesn't matter. And so you have a lot of people who, go to school and they turn up and all stuff like that. Turn up is great. I'm never gonna lack turning up, because I turned up a lot when I was I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say something that I'm not. I had a great time in undergrad. I lived the best of both worlds, because on one side, I had, I was in the frat stuff. I was always at the parties, but on the other side, I also was at every single club meeting, running club, leadership on that, networking, doing everything I needed to do. Because what happens is, if you just go down one path, then the having a good time path, you might not really you might miss the networking piece of it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times people just want to have a good time. People want to get lit. They want to have fun, and I completely understand that. But I'm here to say that do that, but be focused. You know what I'm saying? Always be focused in terms of where you're going, have a direction. And what I used to do back then is, anytime somebody would ask me, what are you going to do? I had the same response. I was very consistent. So I said, yeah, when I graduate, I want to become an investment banker and do this and that and the third. But every single person who I met along my journey, I told the same story to. And that helped me out a lot, because when I was doing that, everybody had the same perception of who Brandon Mitchell was going to be, or what direction Brandon Mitchell was going. And that was really important for me. And so when I look back, and I actually mentor, I talk to a lot of college students. I might be getting a big award from my university soon.
Wow.
And the thing about it is that, you have 3-4 years to just make a difference, make an impact, and you can really change the whole trajectory of your life. A lot of times people, when they're in school and at our age, like they know what they kind of want to do, but they don't really pursue it as much as they should. They're not like aggressively trying to go and get it. You know what I'm saying? It's really like, yeah, I want to do this. Yeah, I want to do that. But when you really pursue something aggressively pursue your passion and your dreams, you're gonna make something happen. Because people can sense people with passion, people can sense people with drive, and it's like that energy. It's like the energy, it will just consume you, and people like to gravitate towards good energy. That's one of the biggest things, is having good energy and literally just knowing what you're doing with yourself. And I think that our generation, like we're in the times where it's like people just want to they just want to look like they want to be it already without doing the work. And it don't work like that. And it's not just our generation's fault. You got social media. Social media can give you a lot of anxiety, stress, depression, because you look at what other people do, like, oh, I should already been that type of time. But it's like, you don't know what they did. You don't know what they went through. You don't know their journey. So a lot of times I'm telling people, stop comparing yourself to other people. I only compete against myself. I've got a million people doing what I do, but ain't no one doing it like how I'm doing it. Right?
That's facts, man. That's facts.
And that's where it's at. Don't compete with nobody. Compete with yourself, and just know where you're going. And don't get caught up, because a lot of times people get caught up. They just start making all these different mistakes. And it's like, if you just have a direction, if you know what you're doing, and you just clear on your personal mission, you'll go a lot further.
You're preaching, man. You're preaching. And again, like, how do we network effectively when it comes to being in school and when it comes to internships? Because I know that sometimes people, they can get somewhat intimidated by seeing a Wells Fargo internship or seeing a Google or Twitter. And it's like, I may not be qualified for this. So how do you take those shots in school?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it comes to being qualified, and especially when you're in school, it's like, sometimes you're in the mindset that, like, you're not doing enough. You didn't go to the best school. You don't have the best grades and all that. And a lot of it is just fear. And fear is an imaginary thing. And once you get past that mindset shift of like, oh, I could go get it. Oh, there's people who've done it before me. You're stepping a different type of a light, because now you're like, well, I'm prepared. So the first thing I'll say to anybody who doesn't think that they're qualified is that you are qualified. You are ready. You're excellent. You have your own genius inside of you, but you got to unlock that. And you got to tap into that. And so I say that, more tactically, what you could do is build your resume. Right? Like, don't waste time. Start doing things early on to build your professional brand. Even as a student, you could build your brand. On my resume when I was in college, I had treasurer of the stock market investment fund. Oh yeah, I was paper trading back when I was 18. I had secretary of the Accounting and Finance Association. I was heavy on it. I'm leading club meetings, I'm giving presentations, I'm coordinating events. Those are all bullet points. I'm building up my professional brand. What else did I do? I launched a business in college. Resumes.co was on my resume. Led this, wrote resumes, charged this, did market research. When I did another business, tried to do this startup, raise money, pitch at business plan competitions. And so you could literally leverage, and I'm talking from a business perspective, but this applies to any major, any specific lane, you know, and I wish I started sooner, to be honest. I really wish, like, we're young now, but I see people 15 years old doing like crazy things, 17, 18. So it's like, you're never too old, and it's never too late to start, but you got to wake up and know that the mindset got to shift, you know, got to go from like, nah, that's corny to, nah, I see why I should do that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times people think that being smart and educated is corny, but at the end of the day, like, you know, there's a lot of educated millionaires walking around. So
talk about it.
What side of the coin do you really want to be on?
Talk about it.
And I think that a lot of times people don't realize, but you should really pad your resume. You should do everything that you can to build yourself up and build a brand around yourself, like network. You know what I'm saying? Network with people in clubs, network with people in your class, network with professors, network with local business owners. Go on LinkedIn, run a search of your local area, your local radius, and figure out who's who. You know, talk to people. A lot of times people go through, man, you know, how many times I realized people went through college and didn't leave with any relationships?
I'm saying, man, hey.
How do you do that? Literally,
so many people, bro. Like, you got 200 people in your class, bro. Yeah.
It's crazy. But it happens all the time, and it happens more than people think that, like, the networking side of that. And that's really where I stepped into my limelight. Is I was networking like crazy. Everybody knew me on campus. And I went to the school, I had about 7,000 kids. It was like a small state school. And everybody knew me because I was visible. I was always around. I'm always doing this, that. But just be professional. And even if you don't want to go so hard like that, just have a game plan. You know, you're not here to waste your time. And that's one of my biggest things that I preach. And if you know you want to do certain things, like, try and gravitate towards people who've done it before. Because success leaves receipts. And I say that all the time.
That's a bar, man. That's a bar. I like that.
It does. Success does leave receipts. And if you follow successful people, you literally will, and you emulate what they do, and you will be successful in your own light. Just obviously put a little spin on it, but do that, right? Gravitate towards people who've done it before, because best believe, it doesn't matter who you are. Someone has walked in your shoes before, and they could guide you, or they could give you some good information. And one of the biggest things too is informational interviews. A lot of times people don't even realize what that is, but I'll break it down. Like, an informational interview is when, let's say I see what you're doing. Let's say I'm a student, and I want to become an accountant at a Big Four accounting firm, right? Now, I could reach out to you and be like, hey, could you refer me to the job? That's a lot. That's a big ask for somebody. But if you reached out to me and said, hey, you know, over the next like 2 weeks or so, I love what you're doing. I'm very inspired about your career. I've seen that you started here. You went to this school. You was in this club. Love your journey. You know, if you have some time over the next 2-3 weeks, I'd love to just pick your brain for 15 minutes because I aspire to be like you or walk in your same light. You know, boom, follow up. Maybe send an article to that person and add that value. And then when you get that 15-minute meeting, make use of it. Ask the right questions and build that relationship with them. And it's an informational interview because you are interviewing them to get information, to then help you and nurture your mind. Because when you're young, you don't know nothing. You really
That's
don't know
facts.
You think you know what's going on. But when you start picking the brains of people who are where you want to go, you'll start to literally lower that information and that knowledge gap. And so a lot of times people don't realize that, but you know, if someone reached out to me and wanted to chop it up for 15-20 minutes, I'm open. I'm not gonna say no. I mean, like, I'm a CEO, I run a big company, I'm doing a lot of different things, I'm always moving on. But if someone reached out to me, I could take 15 minutes in my next 2 weeks. But if they reach out to me like, oh, could you refer me? I'm like, I don't even know you. So it's all about your strategy. It's all about your strategy, right? Like, be logical with how you go about networking. Don't just ask. You know, it's all about giving, and then you're gonna receive. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I live my life. I don't live it in like I gotta just go take. Give first, and then God and the universe will just bring it back to you. But people don't think like that. But I'm here to tell you that's how you should think if you are on that path of you trying to get up and up, right? You can't just jump to like where you're trying to go. Like, it ain't. People get lucky. There's a lot of lucky people out there. People people get lucky. Like,
That's facts,
people
though.
just
That's
shot
facts.
and then that's it.
That's
But
facts.
the large majority of people, you got to work your way up, and it's the process for me. The process is what does it for me, because I would rather take, you know, a little bit longer time to get something, because I feel like I really achieved them. I feel like I really did what I needed to do to get it. And I'm a big process person. I really love the process. I love the process of achieving what I'm trying to achieve, and the failures and the heartaches and the stresses, because it trains you and it makes you stronger. So even if you're trying to pursue something, an internship, a job, a side gig, like, just know that you'll go through it, but it's part of the journey.
That's right.
It's part of the journey. A lot of times you're not just about to just jump straight into it. And again, just don't get discouraged, because a lot of times, and especially our community, you get discouraged when, you know, you're not getting the traction that you're looking for right away, or you're not, you know, things are not going as smooth as you thought it would. But at the end of the day, it's just part of the process. And when you really immerse yourself, you'll literally be on a different type of time. And that's what I say to everybody, you know.
Hey, that's free game right there, bro. I love that. And see, man, Brandon, it takes confidence for someone to just flat out say, I love the process. Because a lot of people shy away from the process because that means work, right? So for like yourself overall, what instills all of that confidence for yourself? How do you stay confident?
I would say one thing about myself and why I have the confidence that I have, and it's because I'm self-motivated.
Yeah.
Period. That's it. I have self-motivation built into me as a person. And so I don't need a lot of things going on I don't need somebody to put a battery in my back. I wake up every day with a battery in my back to get straight to it. Yeah. I wake up every day with a battery in my back to make it happen, to do something that's gonna bring me forward. You know, and so I'm very confident because I do the research, I do my homework. I don't just try and, like, you know, fake it till you make it is great when you just getting started. But then once you get on a certain level, you can't fake it no more. People gonna be looking at you, and people gonna be listening to what you're saying. And that's one of the biggest things. You don't want to be pump faking out here. And so I'm confident because I've earned where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? I've done the work. And so when I look back, though, before I got to where I'm at today, I had to go through it. I had to get it straight out the mud, and that's my life. I've been doing that I've been hustling my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I had to wake up, you know, this year and start hustling. I've been hustling since 2015, 2016. You know what I'm saying? I had my first job when I was 14 years old. So it's been a process and the confidence building thing, but there's effective ways to build your confidence, even if you're not a, you know, innate confident person. Like, you can definitely do certain things, and again, maybe start something, like start your own blog, or just start to just get your mind right. You know what I'm saying? Because once you get your mind right, you get your money right. Shout out to Ash Cash. Like, mind right, money right. That's really what it is. And so I think not everybody is super confident, but you can just build it over time, and it's something that you work on. Like, when you see an opportunity, take it. Say yes first and figure it out later. Don't say no. Right?
I like
it's certain things like that. When people present opportunities to you, a lot of times people just shy away from that. Why? Why are you doing that? You're like, jump at opportunities that come up to you and just take it straight on, you know? Again, sometimes people really suffer with a lot. Right now, mental health is a big topic. I'm a big believer in mental health. People's minds is not right now. People are seeing all this, you know, racial inequalities. You see all this police brutality. You see just the what I'm trying to say, the economic disparities. And people, like, it's a lot going on. People dying. Like, we are a crazy world right now. Let's keep it a buck. It's so I understand why, even because we gotta talk about 2020. Like, I'm not talking about 2015 when I was in 2016. Like, 2020, we're going through a lot. You know what I'm saying? You got to really be on your P's and Q's when it comes to, like, your mental health, because you can't even be confident if you don't have your mental health together. And so I just implore everybody to really take a second and check yourself, check your mental health, check on your family, check on people close to you, because, like, confidence is something that's important, but your mind has to be right, because, again, your mind is your temple, right? Everything functions based off of how your brain works. And so I'm a big believer, because, you know, I'm confident because I'm healthy mentally before anything. I'm mentally healthy. I wake up, I'm happy. I'm smiling.
That's beautiful, man.
I could have made 0 sales today. I'm still smiling because I know I'm on my journey to my passion, to my purpose, and I got a lot of bigger things coming. And so confidence is important. work on it. Don't neglect it, and don't neglect your mental health. Seriously, it's really, really important right now. Despite what's going on, we're gonna get out of this.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
we're gonna get back to where we're trying to go. But I think those are certain things that people don't talk about a lot, and I think it's really important to kind of focus on that, because if your mind is not right, I can't see how you focusing on like anything. You know, so we're just in a really interesting time.
I love that, man. And again, during this time right now, COVID, a lot of people got laid off, lost jobs, can't find one. And that's what makes your company so essential right now, right? So what services can you guys provide for people who are struggling trying to find a job?
Absolutely. So at Brand Resumes, what Brand Resumes is in a nutshell is a tech-enabled career advancement startup for entry-level graduates, mid-career professionals, and executives. So we work with the students who are just graduated, 0 to 3 years out of school. Entry-level positions is what they're looking for, right? Mid-career professionals, so let's say you've been in the workforce for some time now, you kind of got a little bit of your feet wet, you might be a manager or a lead, but you're looking to get that up and up, you're looking to get that lateral promotion, you're looking to just get into the next bag. We help those out, and then also the executives, C-suites, directors, VPs, all that. And we do that through the resume writing, right? So don't just do it yourself and, spin your wheels. Actually hire a professional who knows, understands how to articulate your value for you, your story for you, in a way that's going to really appeal to the high managers and the recruiters. That's the biggest thing by working with us, as well as the LinkedIn piece. Can never forget the LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is really a professional network. And if you don't have one, you need one. And if you have one and it's not good, then you're doing yourself a complete disservice.
Yeah.
You're playing yourself.
Yeah.
So that's how we help people primarily, is on that branding side, to get yourself to be job search ready. You're not the full funnel. We even help out with interview coaching if you want to make sure that that when you're interviewing, you're not messing up, things like that, and then even solid negotiation. So we do a lot of different things when it comes to career advancement. That's our strong suit. That's how we've grown from 0 to almost 500K in sales in over 16 months. That's how our team has grown, because that's important. And if I'm speaking to anybody who's like, yo, I got to get my career together, talk to me, because that's kind of what we do. But yeah, that's how we help people. And we actually are launching a course as well, which is pretty cool. Something that I talk on a lot. That's been in the waking, because it's big to have someone do it for you, but also there's a big market and just a push to, well, I could teach you a skill that you can have forever. You know what I'm saying? Like the resume writing thing too. So I'm doing a lot of different things. On one side, you could, hey, get your resume done and we'll help you out, because it's really important. But also, if you're interested in also writing resumes and being like just like myself or like thousands of others, I'm helping people like that as well. So I'm hitting it from a lot of different angles.
That's fire, man. And branding and a resume is almost synonymous, right? So for people who don't understand how important that is, how important is it to realize that your resume is pretty much you marketing who you are?
Yeah. I always say that your resume is your first investment. If you go on my website, it says your resume is that's the first thing you're going to see, because it is very true, because it's all about the first impression. We talk about networking, right? Like how you look, how are you coming across, what's your digital image, how's your prep. We're all digital now. That's it. People are not shaking your hand. It's digital only. And so when you talk about your resume really is going to get you in the door without saying a word. It's going to get you that interview. Interview's going to get you to the second round, third round, fourth round, fifth round, and then next thing you know, you have a job. And so people don't think about the resume in a way, because there's so much online templates and there's so much like these free builder tools. And a lot of times it's just garbage. They're just trying to get your email so that they can plug you and sell your information out to somebody else. And it doesn't really work. I'm going to be the first to tell you it doesn't really work. You might get lucky, like most people in life, but the majority of folks, you really need to have your resume to be ATS optimized. It needs to be in a way where, an ATS stands for the applicant tracking system, software that recruiters use, but it really needs to be done in a way that's going to move the needle for you. You know what I'm saying? And where you do that, focus on the keywords. You can focus on so many different things, and that's kind of what we do. We really help people articulate their value on paper, and then that transcends into you getting the interview, and that's the biggest thing.
Yes, sir.
People have to get more interviews.
That's good stuff, man. And I know that people struggle with knowing, hey, should I do one page or should I do multiple pages, right? And I know that it depends per job, but overall, right, how do you know how you should approach knowing how many pages I should have, keywords? Because I think people get overwhelmed when it comes to applying for jobs and not knowing, right? So how do you know of the number of pages, the keywords, all that good stuff?
No, of course. I think when it comes to the keywords and to the pages and all that stuff like that, well, one, talk about the page length first. It definitely does depend. The rule of thumb though is a one pager, because I'm a big believer that you should be able to condense what you do into one page, nice, clean, concise, being able to really focus on what matters, what's relevant. And so, if you're an entry-level graduate, you're a student, you need a one-page resume. You should have nothing more than one. Even if you're a mid-career professional, you've been in the workforce for under 10 years, under 15 years, may have about 3 or 4 work experiences, or just one long one or a few long ones. You need one page, because you need to be able to just quickly, people don't have time. Recruiters, staff, people don't have time like you think they do. They really skim your resume for 8 seconds. I'll wait. And just like that, they've already said, okay, I'm either going to check it or you go yes or no, boom. That's it. So it's really important to make sure that you understand this when you're going in there. And a lot of times, a lot of what I'm saying could be like, what's he really mean? But really, like, it's an 6-second glimpse. If they don't see what they're looking to see quickly, you're just getting skipped. And that's if you even make it to someone looking at your resume. Because if you're not even getting past just the initial screening, it's going to be really hard. So, again, if you're executive, I would say maybe about 20 years of experience. You've been moving for a calm minute, and you got a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Maybe you need 2 pages, and that's fine, because we can do a lot with that. But for the majority of folks, I would say 1-page resume. Keep it clean. No objective statement on there. Professional summary if you want to really talk about yourself, and just make sure that it's really put together really nicely. Because it definitely just does depend. It definitely does depend on who you are, whether you're going for a federal position, whether you're going for a public or private, whether you're going for different industries. Like, it gets real nitty gritty in terms of working on the resume, putting it together, and making sure that it is the best document that's going to work. Because the worst thing you could do is spend like all this time working on the resume, or pay for a resume and it's not working, because now you're like, that's
real.
Time is the most important thing in this world.
Yeah.
Are you wasting time?
Yeah.
Not it.
Yeah.
It's not it.
That's facts, man. And I know right now with our age group, a lot of people graduate from school and struggle finding that job, or heck, even a dream job. How do we optimize our resumes, our branding, to actually get that bag right after graduation?
Yeah, it's important. A lot of times, people start later than others. People start earlier than others. So even when you start could transform everything, because I'm a big believer that you should have something on your resume when you're trying to get out there, right? If you don't, you can be a little bit more challenging to kind of get into that bag if you've just, did nothing, didn't network with anybody, and just expect with a college degree you're going to get a job. Good job. Doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't work like that. But there is hope. And so what I always say is that if you know where you want to go and you have a direction, identify that early on. So first things first is about setting goals, right? Right before we talk about, how to get your big bag, well, you got to have a direction. So you need to have goals that are strategic, that are measurable, that are actionable, right? And actually be able to pursue them. So know where you're going first. Do you want to roll that as a team player role, or you want to be an individual contributor? Do you want a remote role, or do you want to have to go into the office? Do you want to be able to be, on a fast track to promotion? Do you want to just calm out for a little bit? What are you looking to do, right? And that's one of the biggest things that a lot of times people got to really introspectively ask themselves, like, okay, I got to think about this. Look at some job descriptions. Understand what people really do, because a lot of times people just jump into applying to jobs. Like, do you know what you're applying for, bro?
He's trying to get the money, bro.
They're trying to get the job.
Yeah.
They're trying to get the bag, but you got to really look at what you're applying to, read it in and out, look at some reviews of companies, go to glassdoor.com, understand the company cultures, the differences, the nuances between a lax office environment versus a more tight. So before we talk about applying, like, let's talk about setting some goals, right? Talk about what you need to do before all of that, like pre-applying, because if you don't take the necessary groundwork, then you're building a house on a foundation that's not really that great. Your career is like you're building a masterpiece. Start here, go here, advance here, and you put them together your whole masterpiece. And so if you're not doing this the right way, then you're really it's a big disservice to yourself. And so I'm always saying, set those goals up first before looking at how you can maximize your resume. When it gets to the resume, there's so many different things that you can do. Even if you're a student, even if you didn't do, you don't have those internships, focus on the skill sets, right? Focus on the skill sets that are going to be required to get to where you're trying to go, and upskill yourself in a way that's going to be attractive. So if you know, maybe I'm missing an internship, maybe do a side project, but then also go get a certification. Because how many other people getting certifications at 22, 23, 24? Let's talk about it.
That's facts. Not too many.
Statistically, not a lot.
Yeah.
So you can quickly differentiate yourself just like that, right? Pursue things like that. And then also, I'm big on this, right? Do things that's going to help your personal brand, especially on LinkedIn, because a lot of times it's about let's get the resume, let's put it all together, and then let's just apply. Let's go on all these job boards, apply. You're just going to be waking up, applying to jobs, just waiting for something to happen. But that's what I look at as that's what I look at as outbound recruiting, like outbound trying to get a job. Inbound is like you want to bring high managers and recruiters to you, and nobody talks about that. What are you doing to attract people to you, right? A lot of times it was just like, I got to do all this stuff and I got to put myself out there. But you could be doing strategies and really branding yourself in a way that's going to really make people like, oh, I got to hire this girl. I got to hire this guy.
Yeah.
And how do you do that? You figure out what lane you want to be in. You have your goals set. And then you actually start to produce content and build a brand around it. Like how you build in your pocket. You're building a brand around yourself. Start creating content in your lane. If you want to become a recruiter, why are you not, following hashtag recruiters, hashtag whatever, following the top companies, seeing what they talk about, and then start talking about the same topics, putting content out there? Why are you not creating graphics and, I'm a graphic designer? Go get the skill or go find somebody. Put content out there and put your perspective on things. Some people are so afraid to share their perspective.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah. Yeah.
Why? Why are people so afraid? Like, you could really build a whole, people coming to you like, oh, wow, man, he has a point. And now they're engaging with you. Now they're commenting on your posts and you're bringing people to you.
That's right.
And a lot of times people don't really realize that. What they want to do is they just want to get the resume, they want to get the LinkedIn, and then they want to apply.
Yeah.
They're waking up every day, they're applying to 50 jobs, 100 jobs, whatever, thinking that they're going to just, and it will work. That's so slow and steady. But for the long run, build a brand around yourself. You want to become an accountant? Why are you not creating your own blog? Why are you not doing certain things and just maybe YouTube channel that you talk about things? Because when you have that behind you, it's a lot stronger now.
Yeah.
You see we're just launched LinkedIn Stories. We're moving to a more branded topic of who you are. What's your brand? What's your personal brand? And so people don't really understand what's going on. But that doing things like that can then boost yourself. So now when you're going to these interviews, people looking at you, they're looking at your profile, they're like, oh, wow, this person got articles, they doing podcasting. That's very interesting stuff. And it just shows that, like, you're in the space. And if you're young and you don't have a lot behind you, you need to be doing things like that. Just push the needle. If you're still in school, join clubs, join organizations. And I'm going to leave one other thing out there on the table, how you really boost yourself up in your resume is whatever lane you want to be in, find the professional organizations in that lane.
That's huge.
Let's talk about it. There's so many different things out there that you could do. And you could become a member. Even if you just become a member, that shows that, okay, he's a member of the National Association of Recruiting, whatever. He's a part of SHRM, the Society of Human Resource Management. He's a part of Becker CPA Academy. I don't know. But I'm just trying to say, like, those are the things that you want to do to build a brand around yourself, but then to also put you in a trajectory of greatness, because now people are going to associate you with what you're associating yourself with. So, like I said, to wrap it up, you got your outbound recruiting, where you're putting yourself out there, you just get your resume, you popping it out, but then you also got the inbound where you're trying to bring people to you, bring people to your brand, right? And they want to talk about you. And so smart people do both, but even doing one is good.
Yes, sir. And speaking on branding, I love that topic. When it comes to LinkedIn, I had a friend who pushed me to start posting on LinkedIn, like I'll probably say earlier in the year. And I didn't realize how interactive LinkedIn was, because throughout college, you know how everybody posts like the profile pic and stuff, but I didn't realize like LinkedIn was popping. So how do we optimize our LinkedIn accounts? How do we make sure that the same energy that we use to grow our Instagrams and our Twitters, that we can grow LinkedIn as well.
Same thing as posting. I would say you got to post, you got to engage, right? Like people's stuff, and put your perspective on posts in your industry. Again, what should you be doing? Following the companies that you actually want to work for. Everybody's following, like, but people will follow like 3 companies. Like, no, follow all the companies in your field. Follow the influencers in your field.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? You got like celebrity resume writers. They got like 150,000 followers on like LinkedIn. I'm like, what? So see what they're doing. Engage with them. Talk with them. Try and pick their brains. Engage with people, and just start to just post stuff that's relevant, right? Repost things. Create a graphic. A lot of it is just taking the first step. You know, and so many people just don't want to take the first step. They don't want to do anything. But if you're motivated and you're listening to us, start actually putting stuff out there. Oh, here's my perspective on this. Three tips for whatever to just do whatever. You know, start saying something and having a voice. Because if you make your voice loud enough, people are gonna hear you.
You're preaching.
If it's loud enough, they cannot hear you.
Yes, sir.
Talking about it. So that's really what it is.
I love that.
And everything, and it can work and it can get done, but people have to take that first step. Stop being fearful, right? And just be confident in your own skin. And that's one of the biggest things we talk about. You got to be confident and brand yourself in a way that people are gonna really want to listen to your perspective. Not everybody got to go start a blog. I'm not saying everybody needs to start a blog. That's a lot. People think I got to start a blog. Not everybody got to start a YouTube channel. You don't have to do that either. But share your perspective. Talk. Do a little case study. Do something, right? But start to put your perspective out there. And then if you really want to get into it, like if you really like, okay, I really know, start to maybe create a course. Why not? Who's to stop you to create? If you know something that is even a little bit past somebody else, you can create a course and bring yourself like, hey, I got this $10 course on how to, run a podcast. I got a $15 course on, how to create these dope graphics. Like, who is to stop you from doing that? Facts. Nobody. And so doing those type of things just builds your brand. People think some of these concepts are like so far like out there, so far out there, but they're really not. But you got to be serious about where you're trying to go and about what you're trying to do, and then you start unlocking all these different ideas. And I'm not even gonna go say, I'm the guy that's like, look, go see your perspective. Yeah, like people 18 published books, 17 published books. Why are we not thinking like that? Like, how do I become an expert in my field and even just share a little bit of what I know? Because then anybody who doesn't know what you know is looking at you like you the man. Oh, that's great, So that's what we can do. A lot of branding is really just focusing on your perspective. And everybody has something to say. Let's be honest.
That's right.
Everybody got something.
Everybody got a voice, man.
Everybody got something to say. So it's really just cultivating that and putting it together and packaging it nice and neatly. And you never know what's gonna happen. You never know who's watching. You never know who's listening. And that's why you always got to show up very professional, very clean, very put together, because you never know who's watching you. You never know who's listening or kind of looking at you like, all right, I see what this person's doing. So just don't think that what you post online is just fizzing out. Like, people watch stories. People watch you. It's funny.
That's fact.
People might not ever say nothing to you, but they watching you. So be very cognizant of what type of life and world we live in. And it's optics. I'm a big person on optics. That's what I learned when I was in the corporate world. Is the word optics. What's that? Optics is like people's perspective or what I'm looking for. It's like their perspective on you as like who you are and kind of what you're doing, right? And so you can almost shape someone's narrative of how they think about you based on the actions that you do.
That's right.
So you could be at your desk at work, right? And let's say back when you're in the office, and a lot of people, you walk by their desk at work, and you're like, "How's going on?" And let's say you might not even say nothing, you just kind of walk by their desk. If it looks like you're not doing no work, people will think you're not doing no work because you're visibly how you present, your demeanor, how you stand, your posture, everything. What does it look like? What does it look like? What's going on? Follow me. Yeah. Now, in the same scenario, if I walk past your desk at work and I show you I think that you look like you tuned in, you get to you could be doing nothing.
But it looks like you're
But
doing
it looks
something.
like you're doing something.
That's right.
See what I'm saying?
That's
So
right.
optics is it's the same thing in the physical world as online. If you posting stuff, if you this and that, and and it looks like you're successful, people will think you're successful.
Yeah.
Because it's about the optics, and it's about the perception, I'm trying to say the perspective on who you are and like what you're trying to do. So just don't let that go over your head. It's really important that you're really thinking about these things. We talk about branding yourself, because again, what I hate to see is that you're just throwing things out and just not really coordinated. But think about it, plan, strategize, and then actually make action on it.
That's good stuff, man. One thing I love so much about brand resumes is that you guys stress following up. As a journalist, man, I've been taught since day one, following up is vital when it comes to reaching out to people. So seeing that you guys are teaching that in the corporate world is much needed. How important is following up?
It's needed.
Yeah.
Super needed. You got to follow up, because people's attention spans is very short. And I have a conversation with you today, and by like 5 o'clock, I already forgot.
Yeah.
And it's not that people are disrespectful or that they're trying to ghost you, but in a world where bing, 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 your phone is always like on like this.
That's
like
true.
very easy to like not to forget and to be like, oh yeah, I spoke to this guy a week ago, I'm gonna follow up, and then you don't follow up. I always say that if you got to do it, especially when it comes to getting a job, because when you are in that mindset of, okay, I'm looking for a job, people like you're at the mercy of somebody else's time.
That's true.
So you got to follow up. And ideally, if you're applying the position and you're not hearing back, you should follow up if you have the contact. If you had an interview and you didn't hear nothing back, you should be following up. And we actually offer follow-up templates, follow-up emails as part of our packages, because it's important. And it's crazy that you mentioned that, because it's important. So in all of our packages at Brand Resumes, you get a thank you note letter template, which is essentially a follow-up, because it's important to thank people. But even if, again, you reached out to somebody and you had had a conversation, you need to be following up the right way. And there's a right way and a wrong way of doing everything. And so when you say follow up, I mean, that's just a rule of life. You got to follow up with people. If you just have one conversation to let things like fizzle out, then you're never going to go anywhere. How I got on a lot of different platforms and a lot of the relationships that I've built, I'm following up.
Persistence.
You say you're going to do something, I'm following up with you.
Persistence.
Because if not, then it's like, I'm not going to get what I want. And so if you really want to get what you want, you got to follow up. And people sometimes really appreciate you following up, because people forget. Like, I forget a lot because I got some things going on. When I see that follow, I'm like, all right, yeah, good. I gotta get this going. I gotta do this. I gotta send this out. And so super important life skill. But when it comes to recruiting and getting a job, it is very vital that you do that. 100%.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
how make things happen.
Bro, you preaching, man. Brandon, man, you being somebody who's helping people pretty much get on when it comes to jobs, salaries, and making money. Do you feel like for our age group that the job market will probably dwindle down within the next 10 to 15 years? Or do you think it'll stay the same?
The job market in general, I love futuristic questions, because I'm really big on the tech stuff, and I'm really big on AI and virtual reality and machine learning and all these different concepts and ideas out there. I think that the job market is definitely going to go through a big shift. We are in, I think, if it's not the fourth, it's the fifth, whatever, industrial revolution, because right now it's the digital revolution. Right?
Yeah.
As you can see, the pandemic really amplified that, because if you weren't digital, you had to get digital, whether you liked it or not. Right. And so what's going to happen is technology is going to be infused in just about everything that we do, whether you like it or not. You see it in every single industry: health tech, fintech, ed tech. Shall I go on? Right. Yeah. So what's going to happen is that I think that the job market, the job industry, in the next kind of few years or so is going to shift in the way in which the types of jobs that we do are going to change, but people are going to still have jobs. And so I think you should just be future-proofing yourself by staying on top of the game, understanding who's leading from the front right now. I learned a very important lesson in corporate America. A very important lesson in corporate America when I was there. It was follow the money. Because following the money will tell you a lot about what's going on and who's making moves. So look at who's IPOing. Look at the companies who are leading the stock market. Look at the companies, because whatever they're doing, they're winning. Yeah. And winners gonna win. So you need to really be seeing what people are doing and paying attention to the world, because they'll be shaping the jobs of the future. So I'm always saying future-proof yourself, stay on top of your game, your industry. Doesn't matter if you're a lawyer, doctor, accountant, cybersecurity analyst, doesn't matter. Be on top of what's going on and stay relevant. Don't get complacent.
Yes, sir.
Stay very on top of what's going on and understand and just think. Like, people don't think no more. You think about the future. Think about what's going to happen, because you're going to see it trends. We're all moving digital. It's going to keep going on.
Yeah.
Right? Mobile first is everything. Right? You go to something, everybody check things on their phone first. Apps is everything. So
right.
Just be very cognizant about how the world is moving. I think the job market is going to definitely change in the next 10, 15 years or so. It's going to be different jobs, and it's going to be technology and everything. It's just the way, it's just the natural progression. Software is one of the biggest, is the biggest category that venture capitalists invest in. It's no coincidence. It's no coincidence that all the top companies getting all the dollars and the investment in the future are all tech companies, most of them. Software, because it's great business models, but it's also like people want to do things more efficiently. They need to do it easier. They need to do it faster than ever. People's attentions and people's like how quick people want things. It's like, it's so different. Like when we were younger, right? It was 12, 11 maybe. Yeah. We had to you wanted to go somewhere, you got to call a cab. You got to wait for the cab to come through.
Yeah, bro.
Call the cab.
Regular stuff.
Call the cab. You want to go to the mall, call the cab. Right?
Yeah.
You didn't have Uber's
just
outside.
Texting. Yeah.
Uber wasn't a thing, right?
You got to physically talk to somebody.
Yeah. I'm at this house. This is what the house looked like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so now it's like you got the Ubers, you got the VX, so you just take a step back and just look at what's happening. It's gonna change. Everything's gonna change. And a lot of industries are gonna be disrupted. A lot of jobs will be lost, but there'll be new jobs created, and that's my perspective on that. I think that we're going to be moving in a way where you got to just see what's going on. Don't be ignorant. Stay woke, because things happen really fast, and before you know it, you could blink and you'll be in a whole new world, and you'll be lost. So just stay on top of it. Follow people like myself, like you, follow people who are thinking about the future and also trying to shape it. Like what we're doing. We're actually do a lot more than just resume writing. Yeah. We're building technology, ad brand resumes. We are really trying to do certain things that are going to future-proof our business and how we help people now and into the future. I'm already thinking 2030, 2035, because you have to. So that's just my perspective on that. I'm big on the technology.
Yes, and Brandon, that's actually the perfect segue. So my second to last question is, I love your whole model when it comes to the company, when it comes to your team. Everything is dope, man. What inspires you to stay pretty much recession-proof when it comes to COVID? Because I know right now business has to be booming even more with people trying to find jobs. So how do you always stay pivoting? How do you always stay flexible, knowing how to move? I love what you're doing. So what inspires that?
Yeah, well, I think that you gotta see where the world is. We just spoke about it. You gotta see where the world is going. And because of the COVID, it was terrible for a lot of folks, because furloughs, people getting fired, all types of things. So that just organically, really did crazy numbers for our business, because we're the superheroes. We're the people who are gonna help you.
You saving lives.
Yeah, I'm gonna save your pockets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm going to help you compete, because you still got a lot of people who got really bad resumes putting it out there and it's not working. But then you got people who going through the brand resumes process and they look real good and they're getting interviews. They're getting interviews, best believe. And so that's just a big difference right there, and how you go about your strategy to actually get into where you're trying to go. And for us, it's we're trying to do so many different things that I see where the direction's going. Talk about technology. E-learning is huge. $200 billion industry. So keep growing. Why? Because we're being educated through a screen. What did the pandemic do for us? It shut down the schools, shut down the universities. We're going to Zoom, we're learning online. So what we're doing at the company is that, from a business perspective, we know that we cannot help every single client out there. It's virtually impossible. I would love to. Yeah. So what we're doing is we're launching this course has been 6 months in the making. we're launching an L&D, Learning and Development Initiative, our course, our flagship course, to teach people how to become a resume writer. Because what I'm doing, anybody can do. I'll keep it 100. What I'm doing, anybody can do. You can make anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 a month writing resumes, or less or more, what have you. But what we're doing is we're trying to teach people how to fish. So it's like you gotta understand that it's really important not only to do services but also to teach. And so we're trying to empower the next generation of resume writers. We've already mastered it.
Yeah.
I got over 100 5-star reviews. We've already mastered the resume writing. So if you are somebody looking for a job, great. But then also if you're on the side of, okay, how do I continuously have my podcast? How do I future-proof myself? Learn skills. Learn skills. Skills is what's gonna have. So I'm teaching people the skill of resume writing. I am an expert. I've been doing it for a long time now. I failed. I came back, and now I'm in a position to really teach people what it's gonna take to get to that next level in terms of creating a side income. Anybody can do Airbnb, but hey, you gotta own a house.
That's true.
Anybody could, become Uber, but now you risking a lot. I write resumes from the comfort of my home, and I make a great living. And if I was doing it from a side income perspective, man, $1,000 a month could change somebody's life. Extra. Why not? Why are people not investing in skills? And so I got that coming out in a few days. People gotta stay tuned for that. But that's what we're trying to stay on top of the curve. So again, we're doing the services, we're working with corporations, we're doing workshops, but now we're also about to start teaching people how to get into this field because there's too many people who need this help and I can't help everybody. So if I'm speaking to anybody, please stay tuned, follow me, reach out to me, because when this course drops, it's going to change the game.
Man, I love that, bro. Keep all that great work up. Last question, man. Where do you see yourself, the business, within the next 5 to 10 years?
We're going to be a conglomerate, to be honest. Brand Resumes is going to move a little bit more into a tech company than anything else, because what we're doing is moving into the space of technology. That's because I'm more a tech entrepreneur than anything, than a writing professional, because I'm looking at it and how can now I kind of lay ground and seep into this industry of career advancement, professional development, resume writing, LinkedIn writing. How can I then build some software, build some technology to not just help myself, to help every resume writer around the world, around the globe.
Yeah.
It's a $50 billion industry. So now I'm looking at it like, all right, been doing this for a little bit. How can we then shape the future? So I'm building technology. I got a lot of things coming out soon. We're building a platform for resume writers to officially manage their business. I'm going to keep growing more partnerships with different job boards out there because I want every job board to be promoting brand resumes. Why not?
Yeah.
You know, and just different things like that out there because it's important to really deep dive into your industry. So I see myself speaking at events, bigger events when there also passes, but that's where brand resume is going. It's going to be a conglomerate, hopefully $1 billion company, IPO on the stock market. So keep following. We're going to definitely stay tuned because when we do those big things, it's going to be important. But that's what we're doing. That's what we're about. We work with small team, very, very tight knit, but we work hard. And so I think that the future is extremely bright for the field of resume writing, but also for brand resumes and what we're doing and what we're about. And that's the company culture that I instill in, not myself, my VP, my manager, my associates, my virtual assistants, even out to my contractors. Everybody understands how we move, and we move accordingly, and we move in like unison. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're doing.
Brandon, man,
straight to every day,
bro. Keep killing the game. What you're doing is so needed, man. Much love, bro. And lastly, where can everybody follow you, support your movement, the business, everything?
Absolutely. So anybody can follow me on Instagram at Brandon_the Resume Guru. On LinkedIn, type in Brandon Mitchell, PNP, CSM. Those are my certifications. So that's going to help. It helps it pop up. And then also go to brandresumes.com. We have a bunch of different things there. We have a blog that we post content every Tuesday.
Nice.
Crazy articles on everything career advancement. The full 9 yards. We have a free ebook, 19 pages on 7 secrets of your top job search. Wow. And we're also about to do some really cool stuff for music artists, producers, and DJs. Can't talk about that too much.
Hey, you and everything, man.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's fire.
We helping everybody. We got a lot of things coming on. Come check us out. Go to the website.
Most
definitely. A lot of
definitely.
things coming on. So yeah, that's how you can find me for sure.
Man, keep it up, Brandon. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your weekend. This interview, it'll be posted on YouTube sometime next week. So I got you, bro.
Salute, man. Appreciate the opportunity.
Anytime, man. Hey, you take it easy. Appreciate you.